hearing about these qualities, as I was mentioning the other day, we feel when Prabhupada said that Indians are so close to Krishna, but facing the reverse direction, we just need to turn and they are so close. I think he meant only people like Kirtida Mataji and that caliber. Because now we are becoming more Westerners, far away and at least trying to turn this way. So hearing about this wonderful natural inborn qualities, just that touch was needed of Krishna consciousness to make her manifest all of these other qualities spontaneously. Radharani Mataji. And after this, I request the second generation, Radhika, Gandharvika, Rasika, Gopika and Mukunda to come forward.
When Shidama Sakha and myself were kids, we had a very regulated life. Early to bed, early to rise. Our meals were perfect. We didn't have to look at the watch. 7 o'clock breakfast, 7 o'clock dinner, 1 o'clock lunch and 9 o'clock to bed. Sometimes you would get very angry with her, for being so strict. But now we are very grateful. It helps us now. She was a very disciplined person and expected the same from us. In fact, all the qualities that we learnt about after joining ISKCON, we had seen our parents practice. Cleanliness, simplicity, appreciating others, honesty, hospitality, charity, punctuality, all these things. She taught me cooking at a very young age. She trained us to do all our work ourselves and to be independent. In fact, I never realized when she made the transition from being a very strict mother to being a very good friend. She became my best friend. In fact, she was a very good friend to all my friends. Some of my friends, college friends are here today. They went to meet her when she was really sick, and after that they asked me, is she actually sick? Because she was so humorous and so cheerful that they couldn't even believe that she is sick. She had that quality that when she was with teenagers, she would become like a teenager herself. She could establish a rapport with anybody, just anybody. She had a good relation with relatives, with friends, as Prabhuji said, with the shopkeepers, vendors. In fact, when she went for her breast cancer surgery, the operation was delayed by 3 hours. So she was on a stretcher. And when she was on a stretcher also, she was preaching. She was preaching to the nurses and to the other patients. So she used that talent of, being friendly with others for preaching. When I was a teenager, I had my usual teenage problems and I had a big inferiority complex. But she would give me so much confidence. And I would always say, Amma, you are so beautiful and I am so ugly. And she would tell me that she had a very simple solution. She would say, have a clean stomach, then you'll have a clean face. Have a clean heart, good character and a smile on your face. You will look beautiful. And that was the secret of her beauty. She never used makeup. Even on the day of her marriage, there was never any makeup. She never used any artificial aids. And I remember when I joined studies for chartered accountancy, I wanted to join a particular firm, a very prestigious firm called Arthur Andersen. And I was working very hard. And before I left, I told her, please pray that I clear this interview. I want to get into this firm. And she said, I will pray that whatever is best for you happens. That was always their prayer. My parents, they never asked for anything material. They always prayed to the Lord that you know what is best. Whatever is best for us, let that happen. And this was not when we were in ISKCON. This was much before. And in fact, they were always spiritually very inclined. And I remember on the 25th wedding anniversary, she used to worship Mahalakshmi, both of them, a lot. She was worshipping Mahalakshmi. And on her 25th wedding anniversary, they went there to the Mahalakshmi temple and they prayed to Devi that we have been following the spiritual path for so many years, but we don't have a guru. Please bless us so that we may receive a guru. We may have a guru who will guide us on the spiritual path. And next day, they came in contact with ISKCON. Next day, they came in contact with devotees. So, Mahalakshmi actually answered their genuine prayers. She had great love for music. In fact, our family would spend hours singing together. Sometimes it would be classical music, and other times we would be singing bhajans. She loved kirtan, and even when she was sick and couldn't sing herself, she would find great joy in listening to kirtan. In fact, when she couldn't sing because of her throat, she would actually cry singing kirtans for Lord Vithala. She had great attachment to Lord Vitthal. When she became bedridden, she would do Manas Puja. She would actually cook for the Lord in her mind and serve Him in her mind. I remember His Holiness Bhakti Vidyapurna Maharaj mentioned once in a lecture that if parents take good care of their children and fulfill all their responsibilities as parents, then when the grandchildren come along, they do not get entangled. That's exactly what happened with my parents. They took such good care of us, gave us good values, and set a good example for us when we were young. When we grew up, they put their full faith in us and in the Lord. They never interfered in our lives. They never doubted us. They only supported us and helped us whenever we needed them. Mummy was there with me for all my pregnancies. In fact, I remember His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, when he came to meet me in the hospital, he told me that you are so fortunate that you are getting so much support from your mother. In the West, this doesn't happen. So she was there when I needed her, but rest of the time she was with Papa, preaching. So they never got involved unnecessarily. They were and will continue to be for me exemplary leaders who gave education and training initially and then gave freedom and support. I learnt many valuable lessons about Krishna consciousness by observing her life and her passing away. She was very attached to cooking. She was a very good cook. And she was equally attached to honoring tasty prasad. But in her last phase, she became completely detached. When I would ask her whether she desired to eat something, she would say, I have no desire. She was very attached to her house at Khar. In fact, many times Shidama Sakha and Priya Sakhi would ask her to come and stay with them, but she would decline. But I saw in the last few months, she became completely detached from the house too. She had ill health from a young age, as my father mentioned. She was used to enduring pain all her life. She would talk about her aches and pains only to family members. Outside, she never showed her pain. She was always smiling. But in the last few weeks, she stopped talking about her pain even to family. Although I knew she was suffering, but I saw she had become detached from her pain. She had become detached from her body. In fact, when she heard for the first time that she had very little time to live, she was not at all disturbed. And in fact, towards the end, she was actually eager to go. She told me, I have no fear, no anxiety, no attachment. I am just waiting for Krishna to call me. When she was at Bhaktivedanta Hospital, she was overwhelmed by the love and service of the devotees, some of whom she didn't even know. There she said to me, what cannot be achieved by lifetimes of meditation can be achieved by just a moment of service. She said, unmotivated service touches the heart more than any amount of philosophy or lectures. I have heard Srila Prabhupada's lectures so many times, but now I can actually realize what he is saying. Because she was hearing Prabhupada's lectures on at Bhaktivedanta Hospital, they are continuously playing. So I learned from her life that if we simply sincerely carry out our responsibilities, serve the Vaishnavas, chant, and follow the process that Srila Prabhupada has given us, then by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Gurudev, and by the prayers of all the Vaishnavas, at the time when we need it the most, we will be awarded that consciousness, the faith, the love, and the grateful heart that can take us back to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev, for creating this family of devotees for us, who reach out to us, giving us great strength and solace in our hour of need. Thank you, Amma and Papa, for creating the bridge that brought us to Srila Prabhupada. I love you very much. Hari Bol.
Like mother, like daughter. Not only in heart, but also in face. I don't agree with Muralidhar Prabhu. Now for the second generation. Starting with Radhika, seniority. Please. Then Gandharvika, then Gopika, then Rasika, then Mukunda.
I don't know what all to speak, because there's just so much that I can say about her. For me, more than a grandmother, she's always been such a good friend. In fact, like, she's been my best friend. As a person, I can't, open up to people, even my own age friends. But she's been one person who I could tell anything to without being judged, she was just a good listener. She could just listen to all your problems. When I didn't even want a solution, I just wanted to talk to somebody. She was the one person I could go to and talk to without, feeling that I'd be given some judgment or I'd be said something about. So she was just such a good friend. And the best thing about her, I feel, is that she could mingle with any age group, like be it me, be it Rasika, Mukunda, or someone her age. She knew exactly what to speak, when to speak, where to speak, and how to bond with anybody of any age. And I think that was like one of the best quality of hers. And for me personally, and I think for all others, she was a rock star. She was a total rock star, and we completely adored her. Because, what I learned from her about Krishna consciousness was, she never spoke to me we never spoke ever, I think, on anything spiritual in our life. Like, I don't remember ever talking to her about Krishna, but her example was she's such a wonderful example that she didn't ever have to speak to us about Krishna, because we could see that she did everything so well, she did everything properly, and she knew how to lead her life, that automatically Krishna consciousness somewhere came in, and she was the best devotee ever. And, I always had this belief that, if you want to live your body in a very Krishna conscious way, you have to be fanatical about Krishna and, only think of Krishna throughout your life. Only then Krishna comes to help you. But with her, I realized it's totally different. All you have to do is just love Krishna and, love your spiritual master, and then everything just comes on its own. Because she was, if you spoke to her and you didn't know she was a devotee, she wouldn't start preaching to you at the first moment, She could go out on shopping with you. She was one of the best people you could go shopping with. She'll make wonderful food for you. She'll tell you stories. In fact, she'll talk about movies and movie songs with you. So, you wouldn't think that she's a devotee who is so serious about Krishna. So, that was her way of bonding with us, because she knew that if she starts talking about Krishna to us, we aren't going to listen. So, she would talk with us on things that we could understand, we could fathom, and then slowly, we'd understand what she's trying to tell us. And I actually, when I'm so attached to her, and this was the first death in my family, so I always had this idea in my head that, if she leaves, I'll be totally heartbroken, I won't be able to eat for 1 week, and I'll be just crying, everyone in my house will be crying. And I had this totally different idea. I was very scared of the idea of death. And then the day she left, it came as a sudden shock, and obviously that day when they took the body and all, I cried. But then in the evening, it was such a different atmosphere. I remember when we went to Mama's house, and we all sat and had dinner together. All of us were smiling, laughing, and obviously we all were sad, we were missing her terribly. But there was such a positivity in the air, and everything was so different, not how I'd imagined it. And then I asked my mother, she said, because it's not a sad thing, she's gone back to Krishna, so it's not a sad thing. And I actually could feel the positivity, like in a house where someone's just died, you don't experience that kind of happiness, that kind of a mood. And that night, actually, everyone was so peaceful, so relaxed. So I realized that what Mummy was saying was right. And I have so many wonderful memories with her. And I like Gandharvika said that day in the car, that I wish we could put a recorder in Ammuma's head, so all her stories and all her witty talks we could record. Because she just had the right thing to say at the right moment, and she was so full of life, so loving, and she was one of the most entertaining person. You could sit with her, even if you were in the worst mood, she could make you laugh. She had that thing in her. And like they said, that in the hospital, she used to be so sick, and people used to come in, and outside we used to tell them, don't talk. Outside the room we used to tell them, don't talk to her much, she's not supposed to talk. And they used to come in with that sullen and serious face, and they used to come and sit with her. And she used to be the one talking so much, and they used to be just sitting and laughing. And then so my mama used to say that, we should charge each person money when they come in for entertainment. We'd earn a lot. So yeah, that was her. She felt obliged, that people are coming to meet me. I should not let them go sad. I should make them go in a happy mood. And yeah, so I feel that obviously miss her. I'm still not able to sink in the fact that she's left us, because even after she's left, we haven't felt the voidness, because all her memories are still with us. All the wonderful memories that you have shared are with us. And we know that where she is now, that's the place she rightfully belongs to with Krishna. And she told us that, don't worry, even after I go, I'll come in your dreams and talk to you. So we are still waiting for that, and we know that she's always watching over us. And wherever she is, she's very happy. She was waiting to go back to Krishna. Like I remember one more thing she told me. I was sitting with her, and she didn't want to see Krishna so much. She wanted to see Radharani. That was her main thing. She said, when I go back, it doesn't matter if I don't see Krishna. I want to meet Radharani. So she told me that, when I go to the spiritual world, she said Radharani cooks different dishes for Krishna every day, but she won't know the dishes I know, because Radharani is from North India, so she won't know the dishes I know. So when I go there, the first thing will be I'll teach her new dishes, so she can cook them for Krishna. She'll have a new variety. So even in those last days, she never made it feel to any of us that she was sick or she was such a terminal age. Like for me, I know that when I get a small cut, even a small cut, I have to keep telling people that, I'm feeling sick, this is hurting, it's paining. But with her, not once I remember her expressing her pain to any of us. And I think her sickness just brought all of us so much more closer, the family so much closer. Earlier, we used to meet obviously a lot, but after her sickness, it became like a ritual that every night at 9 o'clock we leave to go to Mama's house and meet her. And, the whole family bonded so well. So even in her days of leaving, she did good for everyone and went. And we'll obviously miss her a lot, but she's left a legacy. The relationship she shared with Ajja and, the way she's brought up Mummy and Mama, and she was such a wonderful person that she never had to preach to us, but just looking at her, she was our role model, our idol. And, we all desperately want to become like her someday. So I will miss you Amuma a lot, but I know that you're looking over us all the time. And we all hope that, someday we can make you proud of us and we can become somewhat like you someday. So.
You have convinced us that you have had a very good association. I was wondering whether I'm in a memorial or some other function. It was wonderful, very Krishna conscious and simultaneously gravity, and yet it's convincing that Krishna consciousness is simultaneously grave and fun. Thank you so much. Gandharvika?
My grandmother, Amoma, was the best grandmother anyone could ever have. Every time we used to go to her house, she used to always cook a new dish for us. Tell us a new story. My grandmother loved me a lot when I was sick. Many years back, she would pray for me. She would chant Smarti 108 times every day for me. At that time, her hand was fractured, but still she would cook yummy food for me and send it to my grandfather every day for me. She would take so much trouble for me. She guided me and inspired me to chant and respect my elders. She was the best storyteller. Actually, she was the best friend. She could mix with any age group of people. I wish I could have recorded the story that she would tell, and her voice and the way she used to interact with people. It was so good. And also, whenever even during her last days, even though she was in a lot of pain, no one could ever make out that she was going through such a big problem. She would just show, her face was so normal and so fresh. And also to say that, to conclude again, she was such a good grandmother. And I miss you a lot, Amama. Thank you. I love you very much.
We have Gopika.
Hare Krishna. I am at a loss of words to describe the wonderful qualities of my grandmother, Her Grace Kirtida Mataji. She was a perfectionist in all walks of life, be it devotion, be it service, be it cleanliness, be it relationships with all kinds and ages of people. She perfected her life being an excellent devotee, accomplished wife, loving and disciplined mother, affectionate grandmother and mother-in-law, a guide to all kinds of people, and so on. She was a connoisseur of music, kirtan and bhajans. She also had a great taste for serving devotees. She would cook delicious Krishna Prasadam for all of us, which had the L&D masala, that love and devotion masala. She would always be full of joy, full of life, even though she would be in lot of pain. She used to always tell us stories. Those stories were simple, interesting, and would have a good moral to teach us. She made a great impact on my life. I became more disciplined, more sincere to Krishna and my family. She loved me a lot and she wanted me to become a good student, good devotee, good daughter and a good human being. I aspire to be such a person and try to fulfill Prabhupada's mission. I miss you, Anama.
Thank you. Now we'll have Rasika and then Mukunda.
My grandmother, Her Grace Kirtida Mataji, according to me, was the best grandmother I could ever find. Every time we used to go to her house, we would eat a new dish and hear a new story. And her memory was so sharp that any story we would ask her to tell, she would immediately recollect it and she would narrate it to us. And she was so sweet in talking to people. Anyone who would come to meet her, be it an elderly person or a youngster, would always feel as if they were talking to a friend. Even during her last days, she was in lot of pain, but she wasn't showing it. Her face was so fresh, and even while her last days, she once told all of us that even if I die, one day, once in a week or once in a month, I'll come in your dream, I'll tell you all what is going on in the spiritual world. And she used to always keep on joking, even though she was in lot of pain. She used to keep on joking, she used to keep on telling jokes. And she used to, even if she was in pain, she used to not stop talking. Like if anybody would come to meet her, she would continue talking with them. And she would talk for long periods of time. And to conclude, as I told before, she was the best grandmother. And I'll miss her a lot.
Thank you, Rasika. You have Mukunda?
My grandmother, Her Grace Kirtida Mataji, was always a jolly person. She was friendly with most of the people in the temple. Alas, she did not meet the whole world. If she had met the whole world, they'll all be her friends. And she would always love everyone. She never unconfidently chanted her rounds, even in her pains. She's always remembered for translating lectures in Hindi. But I remember her for her stories. She always had a story up her sleeve. Any person who just saw her and did not know her suffering will never understand her suffering unless someone tells him or her because of her smile 24/7. She was very bright. Sometimes you would feel that she's truly shining and always joking. She never fussed on food. She happily ate things which will make faces at. All these unusual qualities make an unusual person. Her praises are endless, but I end here.
Thank you for being compassionate on us. There are many aspects of Mataji, and one is her Chembur program, which they continued for practically years together. So I would request Naveen Gopal Prabhu to kindly come and share that aspect of her service. Another was Khar program, or at least I can vouch, I was there for 5 years. And this is another aspect of the program.
Hare Krishna. I would like to, as Radha Prabhu mentioned, speak on behalf of the Chembur program and our own family. She was close to my wife Savita, so she has given some inputs. The life of a devotee, we learn through the practical tips that they give in devotional life to us. As Tukaram Prabhu mentioned in today's Sunday feast, bhakti is a very personal thing, personal and internal thing. And devotees like Kirtida Mataji, they teach us how we should actually practically apply that to our lives. She was personal in every aspect of her devotion, and she lived up to her name also, and we just put a acronym for her. Yeah, and her qualities are endless, but to each of her alphabets in her name, we just thought to give a quality to that. She was, first is kind-hearted. She was very kind-hearted. She would genuinely pray for each devotee that who is undergoing pain, and she would actually feel that in spirit. In fact, in so much situations, some devotees have shared that she would, in fact, if someone has asked her or requested her to pray, she would say, "Can you write and give it to me? Then I will actually make the prayer." So she was so personal. In our own lives also, when my wife Savita was admitted in a hospital for some reason, both Prabhuji and Mataji called us in the morning, the day of the operation, and they just inquired about her health, and we just informed that she would go for operation. And in the evening, the operation got over in the morning itself. In the evening, Mataji and Prabhuji call us and ask us, "Is the operation over?" I said, "Yes, Prabhuji, it got over in the morning." "Oh, we were chanting for her the whole day." So they are just genuine and very personal in their relationship, very intuitive. Prabhuji, both Shivanu Prabhu and Kirtida Mataji used to have showered their mercy and come for 11 years to this program in Chembur, and Prabhuji used to regularly give class. And Kirtida Mataji had the service of translating that in Hindi. So Prabhuji sometimes in his flow used to go on, to maintain the flow, used to go for say around 1 minute, full 60 seconds. And Mataji used to peacefully, closing her eyes, she used to listen. And then she'll open her eyes, she would say, "Actually, they will not understand this. I will explain in a story format." So she would tell a nice story, and all the devotees would say, "Hari Bol." So those who are listening in Hindi, they would benefit, and those who are listening, those who know both the languages, they would benefit much more. So, and she was very reciprocative, according to the nature of that particular devotee. And if the devotee had some problem, she would not give high-end spiritual solutions, just what is required for that devotee. In fact, one devotee in the congregation was facing some problems with the family on Mataji, and she could not pursue her devotion so seriously. So much so that some of the congregation members were trying to avoid her, or But when the devotee called up Kirtida Mataji, she was very, very supportive of her. She actually said, "You should continue your devotional practice very seriously and do not give up this Krishna consciousness. To whatever extent possible, you continue." I mean, it may not be possible in your family situation, but to the extent possible, please do continue. And that devotee felt so, enlivened by this comfort which was extended to her. She still continues to whatever extent possible, but that relation was mentioned or maintained, or we would have probably, lost that devotee just by her sense of, reciprocation. Kirtida Mataji could extend to that devotee, and she was very talented, extremely talented. She had a extreme good sense of music. Always, every time we know that in a house program she used to take, both Prabhuji and Mataji used to come, and a lot of devotees used to sing kirtan, nice sweet kirtans. But in the end, in her own inimitable style, she would say, "Can I take one tune?" And when she started, she would floor every devotee. So sweet tune, and it would linger in our minds. As Radha Gopinath Prabhu in one of the meetings that he attended, he commented that this tune will linger in my mind for months to come, he said. So that was her. And she also was an expert in cooking. This she has shared with my wife. She was saying that whatever recipe I do, I prepare once. For the next 6 months, I don't prepare that same recipe. So she's a real expert in cooking. She was like the Yamuna Mataji of Radha Gopinath congregation. And I is for Ideal Grahastha family. They were a source of inspiration, both Prabhuji and Mataji, for the entire congregation. And we used to look up to them, because that is and this is how we should be living our lives. When we had the opportunity to visit their house in Car Road, so nicely they were treating us and showing us the way how as a devotee family we should be living our lives. And we in our initial days of Krishna consciousness, we used to ask her in our naivety simple questions like, "No TV, how are you? How do you sustain?" So they said, "What is the requirement? Prabhuji, when we get bored, Prabhuji sings kirtan for me. And what about you, Mataji? When he gets bored, I sing kirtan for him." That is how we spent our entire day. So we were just very inspired by this. Dedicated. She was very dedicated to every aspect of service that she undertook, be it for translation or any other aspect. Some devotees already shared that in Chembur, this was a popular thing, she used to always say that, "I don't know, everyone, Prabhuji gives the class, but people after the class, they come and offer dhanvats to me. So I don't know who is giving the class, whether he is giving or I am giving." So, and she was very approachable as a personality. It's just like a flower leaves its fragrance, and gives equal fragrance to everyone without discriminating. So, like every devotee who met her used to think that Kirtida Mataji is my best friend. And the other person, "Hey, she said, I am also your best friend." So everyone used to feel that they know Kirtida Mataji the best. So that was her, quality, which makes everyone feel special and wanted. So just like Krishna and the gopis, every gopi is feeling close to Krishna. There are, of course, the endless list of her qualities, and we can go on, but even during her, when she was living, she showed us how we should live an ideal life. In fact, she commented that I want to set an example how devotees should live their lives. So, while we had gone to Bhaktivedanta when she was admitted there to meet her, so devotees were very worried whether they should not, disturb her, or when we as a congregation went there, we just tried to keep it to the bare minimum. But she immediately, she started encouraging us. So one devotee dared to ask her, "Mataji, can we sing Damodar Ashtakam?" He said, "Yes, why not?" And as everyone was nicely humming and singing the tune, Slowly, she went off to sleep. So we thought now we should exit. And slowly our tune we started reducing, slowly reducing the volume. And we stopped and we were just about to go then. She was sleeping. Hare Krishna, she started singing. And for the next 10 minutes she only was leading the kirtan and we were going. It was a really ecstatic experience, and even up to the time of when we went to the funeral house, and one devotee was expressing this, that in my or Vittal Prabhu, he was expressing that in my entire experience I have come to so many funeral houses, but the only thing I have seen that people when they either they leave, they finish their this thing and immediately leave, or they are very morose. They are seeing the clock. Even if it is such a serious thing, people generally they leave quickly, or they are morose. He is saying this is the only time I have seen. The devotees don't want to leave. They were staying with the family right up to the end. Right up to the end. It was extending and people were so blissful. So she showed by her personal example how we should be personal and touch every devotee's heart, how we should live bhakti in our lives. So we are eternally grateful as Chembur congregation as such for her to set this example. Hare Krishna.
Of the many services that both Vrishabhanu Prabhu and Kirtida Mataji for years took the responsibility of, one of them was Nasik preaching. So we have Vrindavan Prasad Prabhu from Nasik to share some of the thoughts during those years.
Hare Krishna. Let me put it on record today that the first lecture I heard in Krishna consciousness was in Nasik, a class given by His Grace Vrishabhanu Prabhu, and Her Grace Kirtida Mataji was rendering her most popular service of translation. Then it was a break of 10 months, and the time I came back, the scene was same that Vrishabhanu Prabhu was giving a seminar on Grihasthashram and Kirtida Mataji was again translating it. As a neophyte devotee, the first few impressions in Krishna consciousness are like print on wet cement which cannot be washed out ever. The impressions of philosophical principles given by His Grace Paramahamsa Prabhu, role model example of Grihastha couple by His Grace Vrishabhanu Prabhu and Kirtida Mataji, and a loving bond of family in the congregation are deep in my mind, and so is with each Nasik devotee. The power of their exemplary behavior as Grihastha